I'm Ern Elmore, and this is Wine About It. Liberals cry, we whine. Stay tuned because my guest today is Baltimore's most famous fashionista and conservative advocate, Kim Klacik. Our first guest is Kim Klacik, the fashionable congressional candidate from Baltimore who has made a massive impact trying to improve the city from the inside out. Kim, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's Wine About It, so I would love to give you our wine of the day, which is We the People.
Ooh, thank you.
It's a Chardonnay
Thank you.
and a Cabernet.
I get two.
Get two We the People.
Thank you so much.
So I would like to tell you a little more about it. Like our wine of the day, this is our We the People Chardonnay. It was bottled in Napa Valley. It's the first wine specifically made for conservatives by conservatives, and a portion of all proceeds go to conservative causes. And what I love most about the bottle is that you see the little Republican elephant there and the American flag. So it's not only beautiful to look at, but I'm guessing it's delicious. Should we give it a try?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to patriotism and beautiful shoes.
Thank you.
Let's see. So I smell sort of a citrus.
Oh, that's good.
Do you like it?
Yeah, that's nice and light.
I was going to say, you don't even have to pair this with food. You can just drink this, chill it with your girlfriends, and have a good sip.
Well, I drink my calories anyways.
Oh, that's the best way to have your calories. I'll take wine over dessert any day of the week.
Yeah, that's good.
That is delicious.
Thank
Well,
you.
We the People, and for conservatives by conservatives, and we are a group of conservatives that should be drinking We the People. So I have a fresh grape. And as a mom, I know you're going to agree with me. Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss. He is a horrible, horrible racist. But did you know that Dr. Seuss was actually a liberal? Known as Theodore Seuss Geisel, he was a cartoonist and author for children. He wrote and illustrated more than 60 books, sold over 600 million copies worldwide. Dr. Seuss's political leanings were well documented. He was a liberal who opposed fascism in the 40s and was against President Nixon in the 70s. In an era of cannibalistic cancel culture and lobotomized left, we have decided to cancel Dr. Seuss. Now, were grain, eggs, and ham oppressive? Was Thing 2 toxically masculine? Oh, it must have been this. Hop on Pop was not gender neutral. Regardless of your take on the cat or his hat, can we please stop the insanity? These are books that teach children how to read and rhyme. If we declare all things racist, our children will have no toys, no books, and no gender. So I prefer sons and daughters with color and vibrance and imagination. Kind of like Dr. Seuss. So you're a mom. Do you read Dr. Seuss?
Yes, I read it all the time with my daughter. She's 4 years old. So it was interesting to me because on Dr. Seuss's birthday, there was this dress up as your favorite character day at her school. So I dressed her up as Dr. Seuss. You know, we went to Party City like a week before to get her costume. And so I wake up that morning and I see Dr. Seuss is trending, but I'm thinking it's because it's his birthday.
Right.
Not the case. It's because all of a sudden now Dr. Seuss is supposedly racist. So she still went to school as Dr. Seuss. Obviously, she's a 4-year-old, and I'm not going to steal her joy. She loves the books. Cat in the Hat, and a lot of these books are about learning your sight words.
Right.
And so that's how we teach kids to read. Why would we take that off the shelf? I don't know.
And it's so hard because these books are colorful and beautiful.
Yeah.
And the words rhyme. And when you learn how to rhyme, you learn how to read. And if you know how to read, you learn how to write. What are they trying to do to our children?
I don't know. Education is key. You know, I'm in Baltimore. So right now we know in our area, 9 out of 10 black boys can't read at grade level. And so why are we even talking about taking any books off the shelves? We should be talking about adding books to the shelf, you know? Reading, education, that's the key to success. You know, we have a 20% poverty rate in Baltimore. Why are we focusing on education? It's unbelievable.
It's so sad. I didn't know that statistic about 9 out of 10 boys don't read at grade level. And these books are so easy just to pick up. And if you, with like one fish, two fish, you can see the fish. So it helps you figure out what word is coming next. Now, is your daughter in a public school?
No. So
Because you couldn't.
yeah. So thankfully, and not everybody can afford to send their kid to private school, but we do. So she goes to a private school. She's in a Catholic school, and their focus is reading, writing, learning the English language, and so for us, it's huge to make sure that she has in-person learning and that she's there every day, getting a good education that's focused on what will make her successful later.
And you spoke about the problems in Baltimore's and the problems in Baltimore, and I see a huge chasm between the haves and the have-nots here because these kids in inner cities haven't been in a school in a year.
Yeah.
And this is where they get 2 out of 3 meals a day. Am I correct?
That is absolutely correct.
What are the people of Baltimore saying to you? What are you hearing there about this serious problem that the private schools have been back for a year?
Yeah. So it's sad, and this is where I think a lot of the confusion is. A lot of what we see in cities like Baltimore is not racism, right? Everybody in charge is Black. Our state's attorney's Black, city council's Black, our mayor's Black. It's been that way for decades. It's classism. It is, like you said, the haves and the have-nots. And this happens within a Black community, and so we're not focused.
Green eggs and ham.
Thank you. Yes.
So moving from books to television, and this is one of my other grapes. Not grapes, it's a grape. I've turned on both Cartoon Network and Sesame Street, and they have aired programming aimed at combating, air quotes, racism. As a mother, I don't want television to be apparent. No one should disagree with the message, racism is bad. Racism is bad. However, it's not proper for the television to deliver the message. This is a job for the parents. This is an important conversation to be had as a family. There should be age-appropriate language and time for questions. An animated character in tights or a fuzzy creature has no right to teach our children about the realities of racism. Actually, doing so is a massive act of arrogance. Do television executives know what's better for our children? To both Cartoon Network and Sesame Street, stick to the cartoons and cool it with the virtue signaling. So what say you, Kim Klacik?
Yeah. So this topic of racism that's always in the headlines is tough for my family, right? So my daughter is mixed. My husband is white. And so, this constant narrative is, white people should be discussing how they have white privilege and they're this and they're that. And then here's my daughter, she's got a Black mom, a white dad, and we don't discuss any of that.
No.
Nor does she look at us as any different. We're mommy and daddy, not Black mommy, white daddy, And so, like you said, Sesame Street, I noticed Nick Jr. now has these commercials talking about Black Lives Matter and, things that are just really divisive. And so now kids are asking questions and these parents now have to answer them when in reality, you only learn about racism when it's brought to the table.
And I thought you just teach kids to love one another and we don't need to point out what color their skin is. My son was watching television and he said, Black, and I didn't know what he was talking. He was talking about the black jersey.
Yeah.
Because he does not see color.
Right.
And I thought that's what we should teach our children, that we are all one, we are all working together. Love your friend because you love your friend, not because the color of his skin. And now that we're pointing out Black or white or Asian, it's creating more racial tension, don't you think?
Absolutely. This is, like I said, this is not a
no educational value to be had there.
Yeah.
And these kids need to learn math and reading and science and literature and art and music. Instead, we're spending time teaching our children to basically hate one another.
Yes. Add financial literacy to that one.
Yes, financial literacy. I was never taught financial literacy.
Yeah, me neither. And that would have been great.
It would have been really helpful.
Yes.
What is algebra going to do? That senior year algebra took years off my life.
Yes.
We should have learned financial literacy in high school. I didn't know how to balance check. Now we don't balance checkbooks. So it's a dated term, but I didn't know how to balance checkmark. I also would have liked to learn how to use the stock market.
Yeah.
I don't understand the stock market. I went to law school. I figured a few things out. But the stock market is an important tool for investing. No, instead, I'm carrying the one and doing X minus Y equals X over Y.
Yes.
The square root. Yeah, that helped me out a lot.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know how that got into the curriculum. You're right.
Right. Well, once again, cheers to you and financial literacy. Hopefully we've learned it so we can buy more shoes.
Yes.
Moving on to something old, an aged gripe of the day, an oldie but a goodie. Social media fact checkers, well, they're fiction. The left and their social media soldiers, like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, have waged a war on conservative thought. and they're using their platforms for censorship. In their latest form of suppression, the liberally biased sites use their platforms to fact-check conservative content. Fact-checking gives low-level, liberally minded employees the right to review your content. If they don't like what they see, they don't like what they read, they can unilaterally suspend, remove, and add disclaimers to your posts, essentially labeling them fake news. These liberal outlets are trying to weaken the power of conservative thought and messaging under the guise of facts, when in all actuality, they are actively working to spread more falsehood. Whether you lean left, right, or straight up the center, you should ask yourself, is it the job of media to decide what's true or false? This is a slippery slope into content control. As the Wall Street Journal, you should ask yourself, is it the job of media to decide what's true or false? This is a slippery slope into content control. As the Wall Street Journal so eloquently said, the marketplace of ideas is a better engine for sorting truth from falsehood than self-declared gatekeepers who have learned no social authority. I mean, you are a well-known conservative that is on all of the social media platforms. Your followings are astronomical and through the roof. What have you seen and what has happened to you on these platforms?
Yeah, when it comes to election misinformation, as they label it, the fact checkers, it only happens to conservatives. You know, I get it posted on my post sometimes, but I never see it happening on someone like AOC's post.
Right.
Right? You remember January 6th, she claimed that she was at the Capitol. There was a mob storming her car. She was so scared. Turns out she wasn't even there.
Right.
Wasn't even around the building. And so, but no one fact checked that after the fact. And she still had those tweets up that talked about her fearing for her life. And so for me, it's like, look, if you're going to do it to one side, even though I don't think you should do it at all, you know, do it to both sides, you know, don't be biased. And so for me, like I said, you know, we just had an article come out about our finance report. And of course, they're going through mine, combing through it. But the guy that I ran against, no one has said a single word about his finance report.
That is true.
No, they haven't posted anything about it. And so for me, it's like, look, if you're going to do one side, do the other.
Right. And, you know, the Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, we've heard people talk about it and talk about it. That's the part of that statute that protects these social media giants. They are immune from legal liability.
Right.
Why haven't our elected officials done anything to change this, knowing what they know?
And that's what's so concerning for me, because, you know, maybe people on the left wouldn't stand up and talk about it, but what about the Republicans on Capitol Hill?
Right.
You know, what is stopping them from doing something about it? And I was so upset to see it continue. That, you know, can was kicked down the road after President Trump leaves office, you know, and that was our chance. We still had control of the Senate. That was our chance to try to do something, and we didn't.
And it's really scary to watch because the public doesn't know where to get truth anymore.
Right.
It's so hard to find facts.
Yeah.
There's no journalism anymore. There are just opinions.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to try to help the younger generation. That's why it's so hard, and we need our own social media platforms, but then they just get taken down. So,
Right.
I mean, we need people like you, and thank you for having such a powerful voice, and cheers to you, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Cheers to you.
Cheers. We'll have to do, we run the world, girls, right? That's what Beyonce said.
I think she was talking about all girls.
All girls, yeah.
Yeah,
not just Democrats,
liberals,
not
yeah.
just liberals, all girls. Well, thank you to Kim Klacik, and thank you for watching Wine About It, where it's always happy hour. Tune in next time for more conservative thought and chilled wine. I'm Ern Elmore.